Training camp is only a month away for the Carolina Panthers, and we have all the latest news to get you guys ready. Let's go.
Brace yourself for the ultimate Carolina Panthers experience. Welcome to Two Growls, One Roar, the podcast that hits harder than a Luke Kuechly tackle. We're diving deep into the heart of Panther Nation, bringing you unrivaled passion, insider takes, and pure gridiron fire. From Wilmington to the cosmos, this is your home for the fiercest football talk east or west of Charlotte.
Welcome into another edition of the Two Growls, One Roar podcast. Please hit the subscribe button and follow wherever you get your podcast. Appreciate it. Hope you guys are doing well. It's been a busy week for us. And today I released a new video on Xavier Legette, a nice 20-minute episode talking about his struggles in his rookie season and why I think he's going to bounce back. So if you've not had a chance after this video or podcast as you're listening to me now, please go out and watch that video. We've got a lot more content coming. I've got a lot of prep work to do heading into the season, getting you ready for pre-games. We're going to do some nice graphics, get those things back up and running. But today we're going to get you caught up on the latest news for the Carolina Panthers. Now, again, I like to say that we're in a dead period. Technically not a dead period, as acquisitions can happen, trades can happen, movement, all that stuff. But for the sake of news for us, it's just rumor central and small information that comes through. And so here we are today giving you guys some news related to training camp. Now, unfortunately, we know fans will not be in attendance, although I've said this numerous times. If you guys follow along and you look at the videos that have been posted, there's nowhere for fans to go inside the practice facility in Charlotte, and they weren't going to move it. So, yes, this is what it is. Maybe look into attending a preseason game if possible. I understand the difference with training camp. You get more hands-on. You get to see them, autographs. Still, and it's free. So I do factor that into folks that are looking to make the journey and on the weekends. So we'll keep that in mind. But I would recommend looking into preseason games. I think that's what we're going to do. And Fan Fest, which we assume should be pretty nice. We'll find out. With that said, dates have been announced for training camp. So rookies are going to report on July 21st. We're about a month away from this thing kicking off, folks. It is right around the corner. Veterans will report on July 22nd. I don't know if we're going to know the practice schedule this year, primarily because it's not open to the public. So without it being open to the public, of course, the media themselves will be there in attendance. But from what we know, I don't know if we're going to get the same level of input to know, hey, these are the days that these things are going to happen. These are the practices, again, because it's not open. So we'll find out. With that said, we do know two dates that have been confirmed, and those are the joint practices. Now, we knew there was going to be a joint practice against the Cleveland Browns. That one's in Charlotte on August the 6th. Not that it matters, not that you can attend, but you'll at least know that's leading up to the preseason game against the Browns. Should be interesting. Way too early read on this one, but the quarterback battle there, Shedeur Sanders with a speeding ticket, 100 miles an hour, whatever's going on there, I don't know. That'll be a fun one. And then when the Panthers travel to Houston to take on the Texans, they'll have a joint practice with them on the 2nd. Dave Canales, on the 14th. It's the second joint practice. I read my notes wrong. But August 14th. Again, not that it matters. Actually, I won't say not that it matters. Maybe there's a possibility that Houston fans, Carolina Panthers fans that are in Houston or around that area could possibly attend this. Again, I actually take that back because that will be that's beyond training camp. So unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. I was thinking through training camp, and when you're still in training camp, and things, aren't really real, yeah, there's a possibility, but we're going to, be in the thick of things. So I don't know. We'll see. I doubt that, there's the possibility that you will get to attend, but hey, maybe just keep it on your calendars. We'll see what happens. And then our preseason games, August 8th at home against the Browns. Like we said, traveling to Houston, that's going to be on the road, August 16th. And a home game against the Pittsburgh Steelers on August 21st, not the 1st, but August 21st. And then we'll have final cutdowns following that. I looked it up, but I don't have it in front of me today. Speaking of final cuts, you know what? We're going to have some fun, folks, because that's what we do. We have fun on this show, or at least I hope we have fun on this show. I have my way too early, as it sits today, 53-man roster projection for the Carolina Panthers. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through every single position and player. But I thought, you know what? High level today, let's go ahead and do it. And it's directly on X. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you can see my way too early prediction. Remember, 53 players. 3 of those are special teams because you need a punter, you need a kicker, and you need a long snapper. So how do you divide up the 25 and 25, the remaining 50? In my case, I have 24 players on offense as it is and 26 on defense. Let's go through it. Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, that's your 2 quarterbacks. Running back starts to get a little fun. Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, Trevor Etienne. I have Raheem Blackshear getting cut. That's not to say that I don't think Blackshear is good. He's good in the return game. There's a possibility he makes the roster. Tetairoa McMillan, Jalen Coker, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, Jimmy Horn Jr., Hunter Renfrow as your 6 wide receivers. Numbers-wise, I don't think the Panthers carry 7. I just don't. So that would put David Moore as the odd man out. Tight end gets interesting. You can do some magic stuff here if Tommy Tremble is still hurt and he's potentially on the pup and not impacting the final roster spot. But let's say he is healthy and available, which we would hope. Tommy Tremble, Jadavian Sanders, Mitchell Evans, your 3 in the event that Tremble can't go. Have Dominique Daphne. And this is just like who's here now. I know there's a possibility of bringing in a guy or 2 as we get through here, so we'll see. Your tackle or your offensive line, Ike Ekwonu, Brady Christensen, Damian Lewis, Cade Mays, Austin Corbett, Robert Hunt, Chandler Zavala, Taylor Moton, Yash Nijman. That's your offense. Defense, your defensive ends, we have Derrick Brown, Brian Ray, Tershawn Turk Wharton, Ashawn Robinson. In the middle, we have Bobby Brown III, Shai Tuttle, Cam Jackson. There's a possibility that Shai Tuttle gets cut. I will recognize that. Outside linebackers, Pat Jones, the second, Nick Scorton, DJ Johnson. Yes, still DJ Johnson in the mix for now. TJ Wonnum and Princely Uman-Yalen. Your inside linebacking group, Trevin Wallace, Claudin Chairless, Josie Jewell, Christian Roseboom, John Radigan. And my math is off because I actually have the numbers as I look at that. I put 1 too many. Oh, epic failure. It's what we do. It's what we do. Cornerbacks, we have Mike Jackson, Shamar Bartholomew, Shaw Smith-Wade, J.C. Horn, Caleb Evans. And his safety, Tre'von Moehrig, Lathan Ransom, Damani Richardson, Nick Scott. There you go. Way too early, 53-man roster projection, folks. Way too early. I'm excited about it. And we'll get into the thick of it. Like we do, we will have our full 90-man roster breakdown heading into training camp. We go position by position, player by player to get you guys prepared as best we can to talk about some of these fringe players. I mean, we have, I would say, 80 to 90% say in like who we think is going to be a lock here. So we'll take it. Now, pivoting off of, talks about roster cuts. We'll get there when we get there. Training camp, preseason, all those fun things. I posted a YouTube short on this, if you guys haven't seen it, talking about Chuba Hubbard and the Super Bowl mindset that's happening right now. Team is done being stuck in the same place, sick of being the same old Panthers, and declared that playing in the Super Bowl has always been the goal, and he believes this team is closer than ever. This was reported by Scott Fowler of the Charlotte Observer. And you know what? I said this in the short clip that I posted, and here's my stance on this. I want every single player in that locker room, every single coach to believe that they can make it to the Super Bowl. That's just like, if you don't have that going on inside your locker room and that's not the culture you're establishing, you're not going to go far. Like, you can't just set out and say, yeah, I hope we make the playoffs. I hope we win the NFC South. I hope we win 9 to 10 games. No, give me a group of men that believe in this. The ultimate goal. Now, is the ultimate goal as a fan, as we look on the outside and watch and we know what's happening around the rest of the league, is there a possibility as we sit back and say, yeah, you know, that's pretty ambitious. That's a very ambitious goal to be talking Super Bowl for a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 7 years. Like, okay, yeah, maybe we need to take baby steps. And as a fan, you say, let's win. Let's get into the playoffs. Let's have a winning record. Those things. But for the people inside of the building, I'm okay with it. And I don't think there's a way that you can necessarily like knock him. And I know he's probably going to get made fun of, but I would take that and those guys in the locker room with what Dave Canales is building over guys that are just here to collect paychecks and hope that things go right and that they figure it out as they work through this. So sign me up for this Super Bowl mindset. And we've heard it. We've heard it from Adam Thielen. I talked about that as well in the short clip that we put together. I believe it. I think in general, when you start assessing this team, there's no doubt that the direction they're heading is a positive one. Some analysts predicting 7 wins, some in the 8 to 9 range. I think there's a chance, folks. It is like, buckle up. I would say don't expect Super Bowl right now. Let's buckle up and let's have some winning football. Now, all things, could crumble. But if the Carolina Panthers are going to follow their motto, their new motto, and no, it's not replacing keep pounding for all the crybabies out there that were worried that keep pounding was going away, leave our mark. The Carolina Panthers need to leave their mark, their stamp. I like the new slogan. And again, it's not replacing keep pounding for those that are worried. Leaving their mark on the game, every single snap, showing us, showing the world, the league, everyone who's paying attention or not paying attention, this is going to be a good football team. The Carolina Panthers have a chance. It's early. It's going to be early in the season, but they have a chance to start off somewhat hot. I'm not talking undefeated, but I'm talking 4 or 5 wins, 1 or 2 losses. On paper, there is a chance for this team to be competitive and figure things out. Now, a big part of them figuring this out is going to rest on Derrick Brown and getting him back, returning from this injury. I look at what he can do paired along with the new additions that we have on the interior defensive line, which was the focus: Bobby Brown, Turk, Nick Scorton, Cameron Jackson, Princely Umanmielen. Like, we talked about all these folks. I even saw someone, and maybe an Alex Zetlow, the Charlotte Observer, that had Princely Umanmielen positioned to be a bigger contributor and starter early on and faster and getting on the field quicker than Nick Scorton. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. But you add all of this talent, it's fantastic. But you throw Derrick Brown into the mix in the middle of this, and things are naturally just going to get better. You look at him setting an NFL record 2 seasons ago with the most tackles by a defensive lineman, over 100 tackles. We don't want him having to make 100 tackles every single season, but if he's able to do what he can do and continue to play at an elite Pro Bowl, All-Pro. I don't like to say Pro Bowl much anymore because Pro Bowl feels like a celebrity contest, a voting popularity contest. All-Pro is your stamp of approval, your stamp of, yeah, this dude's legit. This is a very, very good player. All-Pro versus Pro Bowl. So I like saying that we have an All-Pro caliber player. And you go back and you look at the list of rankings from the folks put out in the mode that we're in now in the offseason, ranking every position, this, and this. Derrick Brown does make the list, the top 10 list, and a lot. And I think that's the respect that he's earned. We just want to see it continue this year, paired along with what we have. And the improvements around him should be a good defense. But again, that's how this team gets to being competitive again. They've got to figure out the defensive side of the ball. It's a big year for Ejiro Evero. Lots of pressure on him, but he's got the faith and trust of Dave Canales in the front office. And the folks, I do truly believe they believe in him. And there's players that talk about him. They like playing for him. I know there's some that have left that didn't like it. But in general, he's favored and favorable. So you have that on the defensive side of the ball, which is great. You brought in a lot of new additions. You brought in some new coaches. You made some changes. So you drafted. You got free agents. Everything's stacking up. You still have some question marks. Safety, cornerback. How's the linebacking core going to do? Are we going to get pressure with these new guys? Are we going to stop the run? All those things will be sorted out. But I have a very high confidence level in this team. Again, not saying Super Bowl. High confidence in this team to be a competitive football team week in and week out, not having to worry. I mean, I got to tell you, if you can get this defense firing off and competent, paired with this offense, which I think is going to be even better than last year at 20 points per game, you are talking about some fun Sundays watching Carolina Panthers football. And as we talk about trying to get back to the old way and all those things, that would be nice. Talking about having a defense that can smother folks, get some turnovers. Yeah, let's get this thing cooking up. You have that on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, and again, I just did a whole video on Xavier Legette. You got to go watch that. I'm going to plug my own content, so I recommend going out. But of course, none other than Tetairoa McMillan. What is his impact going to be as a new addition here in Carolina? I think we're setting ourselves up for a pretty big year. And I like to teeter around the idea that he could break Kelvin Benjamin's rookie receiving yard mark. It's early. We're not even there playing football games yet, but we'll get to it. I just think there's enough there paired with everyone else as I went through the wide receiver room just a few minutes ago. Things are going to be nice. Be cooking. Now, the only way that you can really get it cooking the way that you would like to is the performance of none other than the Bryce Young, who is entering into year 3. We've spent so much time talking about this with stability, with the resurgence and the glimpses in the latter half of the season and how we finished. I think for the sake of fans, number one, I hope we get to see him more, and I think we will in the preseason. Probably not as much, but let's get some reps in. Let's get him feeling comfortable and just that confidence boost that, hey, I'm seeing some live action, getting adjusted. Okay, the way I finished last year, it's still the same. The NFL hasn't changed from then. I've actually gotten better. I understand the game more. I understand the system more. So I'm going to play better. That's my thought on how I would view Bryce Young in the preseason. But that's going to set him up. And you now have Dan Orlovsky predicting Bryce Young to make the biggest jump in the league this year. And I mean, that's a pretty bold statement. Now, I don't know how many people like Dan Orlovsky. I do. I appreciate him. I think it's a chance, man. And I said it. I mean, going back in a few videos ago and episodes and all my stuff runs together. So who knows when it was. But I have talked about how big of a year it could be for Bryce Young. And again, I didn't want to shoe in and say MVP season, MVP caliber, but just looking at the potential jump that he could make, considering where he finished last year, I think it's a big one. And I think it could shock a lot of people. It has to do with the talent that's here, the offensive line, Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, that we haven't, again, said that much about. We have, but we haven't. And the revamped receiving core that's changed dramatically in 2 years. This is nowhere near the receiving core that Bryce Young had when he entered the NFL. And we're now talking about a situation where we've got to make some tough decisions. It's going to be fun. I think it is, just me personally. Now, we have had some notable departures. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of all these, and it's not that many, but as we get into the season, but you now look at this team, it's hard to say it's a departure, but Shaq Thompson, I was about to say the absence of, I don't actually know where I was going there. I was looking at a different note. But anyways, Shaq Thompson headed out to Buffalo. I was going to say it's not really much of an absence because he hasn't been here the past 2 years, really, but still miss him. Wish him the best. Miles Sanders. I don't know how many of y'all saw the fake beef with Chuba Hubbard and I guess, talking about the room and being focused on where this team is. And then Joe Person taking that and running with it. And then Chuba Hubbard retweeting it. You got to go look at all this stuff, man. You don't have to. You can stay out of it, honestly, if you want. But if you are that into the nitty-gritty of what's happening day in and day out, it's there. The drama is real. You can see it. So you have Miles Sanders, Jadeveon Clowney, who is yet to be picked up, Xavier Woods, Jordan Fuller, and then a bunch of just kind of in-between guys that have bounced off the roster. Ian Thomas headed out, Lonnie Johnson. We've seen these guys move around. Johnny Hecker. And how about Eddie Pinheiro? Eddie Pinheiro is still not picked up. So your special teams unit, 2/3 of it's going to be brand new this year. I think that is somewhat significant as we do have the kicking competition battle that's going to be going underway with Matthew Wright and Ryan Fitzgerald. We won't really see what that's going to turn into until we get closer into the season, but it should be good, man. It really should. Now, if you have been in the dark, Jonathon Brooks is going to be out the entire season. Just kind of recapping some high-level stuff that's happened in case, you may have not been paying attention to any of this as we come through this. So we're not going to see him in 2025. I'm not going to declare that a wasted draft pick, but I will declare it was it the smartest decision? I don't know. Hindsight's always going to be this different view in 2020. Oh, we should have done this. I know we should have done this. I'm not here to declare it a failure yet. And I think it's easy to say, yes, you should have looked the other way. You should have looked at this position or that position, regardless of how well he could have or would have or does perform. But you take it for what it is. So he's out. Ike Ekwuanu's fifth-year option did get picked up. Important news there. We will next year have a discussion next offseason around Bryce Young, his fifth-year option, all the fun that's going to come along with all of that. It's going to be good, but I'm excited for this season. As far as the rumor mill, and there were things circulating very early, but as of right now, I mean, you look at some of the news with Jair Alexander not landing here, going to Baltimore, you kind of wonder what's left for the Carolina Panthers. There's not much. There's still some safeties on the market. It seems they're still sniffing around for a cornerback. So I think there's a signing or two still to come. But as far as who and what and when, I think we won't really know until we get later. Panthers do have some money to spend. $18 million. Still need to sign Scorton, but $18 million to work with as it is right now. So they have some flexibility. And now we heard that Jair Alexander took less money to go to Baltimore. So maybe money's not everything, but maybe we should also just look at players that played with Bryce Young in college and maybe they want to come here. Because that's exactly why Jair, part of why Jair, or both, I don't know. That's the full reason, went to Baltimore. It's Lamar Jackson from their Louisville days. So anyways, folks, as always, appreciate you guys tuning into the podcast. This is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.